Every time I look in the comments on Instagram or I look at the comments on YouTube, I see the same thing. The trades are too physically demanding. Once you turn 30 or 40, even your 50s, you ain't gonna be able to move. You ain't gonna be able to play basketball. You ain't gonna be able to play sports. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing with your kids, man. You're just gonna be limping around. And you ain't gonna be able to change anything. You ain't gonna be able to do anything. So let's talk about it, man. So what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Trey Visions, and today we're going to talk about people saying the trades are too physically demanding. I had to make this video because everywhere I look, my feed is it's trade videos from every different type of trade, and I always see those comments saying the trades are too physically demanding. And one comment really like struck me like to the point where I was like, okay, I had to make this video. So it was a nurse saying that she works as a nurse and she sees so many tradesmen come in body broken later in the years or even early in the years, their body's broken, they can't move, things like that. But she never said that these people were taking care of their physical, taking care of their diet, doing the things that they're supposed to do on a daily basis. She just said that she gets a lot of trade people where she works. Now, the thing is with that is the very first thing I'm going to say is one, a lot of people that's in the trades, they're not taking care of the body like they should be doing. You know, they're not going to the gym. They're not eating well. They're not watching what they eat. They're just eating whatever they want to. They go to the gas station before work and grab whatever they think that they need to eat for that day. But they're not planning their meals. They're not meal prepping. Only the people that I see getting good meals are usually the people with wives that's cooking the meals for them. But for themselves, it's not a lot of people that's doing it. Now, you do have the select few. You do have those people that's bringing in lunches and bringing in stuff that they cook themselves. And you can see like, okay, even I'm one of the select few. I try to bring in lunch as much as possible. I'm not going to say I do it every time. It's not possible every time. You know, sometimes you might be tired. Sometimes things might happen. Life happens. But at the end of the day, I try to go to the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week. I try to bring my lunch, try to cook it myself. I don't try to go to the food trucks a lot because those food trucks will also do you bad, do you wrong physically and mentally and emotionally, sometimes get you sick. I had someone just tell me the food truck we worked at got her sick. But the very first thing is that most people that say the trades has did them bad, they didn't work out regularly. They never been to the gym. If they did, they probably been 1 or 2 times in their life. And they will use that, them getting hurt because they wasn't working out, they wasn't taking care of themselves and project it on everyone else. And that's the thing. So that's the number one thing. I just wanted to get that all out off my chest first. Secondly is there's going to be like, if you're getting into trades, you're going to have to do physical things, regardless if you become an electrician. Because a lot of people try to say electricians don't do physical things. Man, that's a lie. Electricians do physical things all the time. I work with electricians. I see them getting on ladders. I see them carrying the conduit. That stuff is heavy, man. Especially we work in industrial. That stuff is heavy in there. The stuff that they're carrying the conduit, they can't carry that stuff in their hand. They putting it on carts just like we are, just like the sheet metal people are. I rarely see the electricians carrying around stuff in their hands. And if they are, it's not them. It's probably one conduit, maybe 2 pieces, but that stuff is heavy. They still have to deal with heavy stuff. Wiring could be heavy depending on what type of wire it is. So most trades, if not, you're going to deal with some physical, you're going to have your physical intact. You're going to have to be taking care of your physical. And if you're not stretching, if you're not doing anything to help yourself physically, you should be doing that anyway. Even if you're not doing a physical job, even if you're in the office, you should be taking care of your physical health, mental health, and your diet just in general. But if you're in the trades, you need to be keeping an eye on that a little more. And that's why I try to, stay on top of those type of things. But yeah, every trade, man, there's some physical aspect to it. There might be somewhere you don't have to do as much physical work, like equipment operators. You might not have to physically lift anything, but you're sitting down. But there's probably some times when equipment operators have to get down and dirty. That's just, it is what it is. And most trades, especially construction trades, like the ones I mentioned before, HVAC install, HVAC service, plumbing, electrician, those just the most known ones. Oh yeah, they getting down and dirty, man. And if they say they don't, they maybe have like a maintenance job, something like that. So don't believe the stigma that some jobs aren't as physical, because that's not true. You're gonna have to be able to, do physical things, going to lift things, you're going to be able to get on a ladder, you're going to have to reach for long periods of time. So why not go to the gym and keep your body fit so it doesn't hurt as much? And also, once you get older, you don't have to be so like tense, have injuries. I know people in the trades that's 60 plus. I work with that's been in the trades for 30 plus years, and they're fine. They go to the gym, they stretch, they eat right, they're drinking as much water they're supposed to do every day, and they're still working at 60, maybe about to go on 65. Could have retired, but he said this out of his mouth. He said, if I ain't having no pain right now, there's no reason for me to retire. And I mean, at least he has that option because he's been taking care of himself. So you want to take care of yourself. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. But also, the third thing I'll say is like you don't want to stay on the tools forever, or you don't got to stay on the tools forever. You can always, there's most trades, there's ways where you can do things like blueprints, right? Blueprints called CAD. Test and balance for us is what it's called. So you're testing and balancing, making sure the airflow is going through correctly. You can do things like that. You don't have to be on the tools forever. There's multiple ways you can get off the tools. You can do inspection if you really wanted to. You can do HVAC controls. Um, if I do HVAC service, I can go to HVAC service, which is still, you're going to have to do some physical stuff. But after HVAC service, I can go to controls eventually. There's routes, there's pathways where you don't have to do physical work your whole time. But the best thing is to do is start on that groundwork, start as a physical worker, start at the bottom so you can learn everything. So when you do get that office job or you do get that cushy job, one, you can relate to the workers. You're not just, commanding them to do things that you wouldn't do yourself. If I had that office job, I wouldn't be one of those people that's like, hey, you do this and I'm not doing anything myself. No, you still can get down and dirty. You can still show people like, hey, I was once in your spot. But there is a lot of people that gets that office job and forget where they came from. But I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic. But yeah, you don't have to do the physical work all your whole career. Most people eventually branch off from that and pick different paths. There's a lot of paths you can go to, man. There's a lot of paths you can go to. You don't have to stay on the tools, but a lot of people stay on the tools and do the physical work because that's just keeps them busy and they like doing it. And that's just, it is what it is. You don't have to do it though, man. You don't have to do. But so my opinion though, my honest opinion is, yes, it is physical, but it's not something you can't handle at all. It's not something you can't handle, especially if you're taking care of yourself like you're supposed to be doing, in regular, physically, mentally, diet. If you're doing all these things, bro, the trades is just, it's going to come natural. It's going to come natural. And most of the time we have tools that help us make the job easy. That's why we buy these tools. That's why we buy wrenches. That's why we buy hammers. That's why we buy whatever we need in our trade to make these things easier. Yeah, you need to put a little bit of elbow grease into it, or maybe you do need to put a little bit more power into it. But at the end of the day, the tools are only getting better and it's going to help us, preserve our body. But you also can't just rely on the tools. You got to do what you have to do to make sure your body is strengthened enough so that you can get through the day every day and feel good at the end of the day. So yeah, the trades are physical, but it's not as bad as people saying it. And people do get injured, but most of the time it's because people are not taking care of themselves like they're supposed to. They're not paying into the safety. Safety is a huge thing that a lot of people in the trades don't really take seriously, I feel like. That's another thing, safety. Some people in the trades, they ignore safety, and don't be that person unless you want to have your body preserved or not. Don't be that person that's not following the safety rules, because if you are, then you're more liable to get injured. So just make sure you're taking care of your body physically, mentally, emotionally, and also paying attention to the safety aspects of things, making sure that you're tying off when you're supposed to, making sure that you're not moving stuff without a spotter. Just little things, bro. If you your mind stay safety aspect and don't think like, oh, you're too good to be safe. You're too good. Especially if you have kids, a family in general, man, you want to come back home intact. Safety is a number one thing as well, because you can be the strongest person ever, but if you're not following the safety protocols and things like that, it won't really matter. You can find yourself in a sticky situation, and that's just, it is what it is. So are the trades physically demanding? Yes. Is this something you can't handle? No. And also, not every trade is the same level of physical demand, but there's going to be physical demand anywhere, and you need to take care of your body regardless of what trade it is. Some people might say this trade is not as physically demanding. Some people might say this trade is not physically demanding. But I wouldn't say don't pick a trade just because you're scared of the physical demand. If anything, when you're picking a trade, you should want to learn it, and you should want to do it for yourself. Don't let physical demand be the scare, like a reason why you don't do a trade. It should just make you more motivated to take care of yourself, keep yourself physically upkept, and yeah, you can nail it after that. Everything else you can learn, man. The physical part, it's not hard either. Going to the gym or doing push-ups in the house, whatever it is, bro, you can do. If you're thinking about this trades, don't let the physical part discourage you. But yeah, man, that's all. I just wanted to drop this video because I'm tired of seeing, the physical trade, like trades are too physical and things like that. Like, subscribe, and comment, man, if you like the video. It's your boy Trey Visions, and I'm out.